it's Nick back here again with another sweary episode warning. So look out for some bad language in this one with a poet with an amazing life story and who is absolutely hilarious, and he likes swearing. So here we go. Cover up your kids' ears.
Well, not my voice. Even in sexy mode, my voice can't be sexy. It's just so weird. I mean, it'd be niche, right? There must be an OnlyFans for like Essex voices.
No, you've got quite an okay voice, mate. It's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's all right. Don't put yourself down.
I don't think I could phone someone up and be like, "Hi, it's Midnight Caller."
Oh, I don't know. Let's try it.
Yeah. Should just do a hot or not for voices.
Yeah,
I love that's the reason why you don't want to do it, because you won't have a good voice for it. Not because it's wrong. It just wouldn't suit me.
Just dialing random numbers and saying, "Can I just ask you a question? Is my voice sexy?" Welcome back to Are You Creative Podcast, the podcast about creativity in Essex, from Essex or living in Essex, whatever. As long as it's Essex, it's all right. As long as it's creative, it's all right. I'm Nick Hearn, so-called creative expert, and I'm here with my co-host,
Sangita Mitra from New Generation Development Agency.
not a creative expert,
Well, I'm so not.
but creative curious and learning more and more about creativity all the time, which is amazing. And also now a award-nominated podcast co-host,
We are,
which is pretty
yes.
sick. So there you go. You are creative now. So podcast over. Let's just hit the stop button. The whole point of this was to make you creative, and we've done it. So
I think so.
we have achieved it. Well, I don't know what the next target will be. What's our stretch goal?
I don't know. I'll think about it. Let you know next podcast.
Win the award.
Yeah.
Cool. And we've got another guest here. We've got Leon. And hello, Leon. You can talk now. Hi.
How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you. How are you?
All right, yeah.
Are you from Essex?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Witham.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Wicked. Sangita's going to have to check your passport. I'm sorry. Can you just have a
There
look?
you go. Yep.
Yeah, it's full passport.
That's
born
a
and
good one.
raised Witham.
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
Oh, amazing. That's great. And also, so you're from Essex, but are you creative?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was like a 43% confident. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Is that better?
There you go.
Are you creative?
Yes. Is that better?
Love it.
Yeah, it was really good. Now, I don't know much about Leon either. I know what Leon does, but I don't know much, so this is going to be really interesting. But Sangita, what do you think Leon does?
Right, guys. So this is a really hard one because I really can't tell.
By the way,
but
Leon has got really beautiful hair.
he's
But it's nothing to do with his
definitely-
creative practice.
Lush hair.
Lush hair, yeah.
Okay,
It's very
so
full.
I'm going to go with, and this is really random, but I'm going to go with some sort of music DJ kind of person.
He does do a bit of music.
Don't lie.
He does do a bit of music, not DJ, no.
Not DJ.
Oh, but you've met
Yeah, he does do a bit of music,
Oh, really
but
then?
he's on here, not in his musician capacity.
Ah.
He does something else. It's a bit unfair because we had someone that does something similar recently, but
Okay.
Leon does it differently. Leon is a
Poet.
Woo, woo.
yeah, but also Leon does do songwriting and performance as well, don't you? But you're here in a poet capacity. We can talk about songwriting later, can't we?
Yeah. Here, Leon the Poet. That's
Leon the poet.
Leon the poet.
Okay.
I couldn't actually say his full name earlier because it would have given the game away.
Right.
The Poet.
Leon the poet. The poet.
Leon the poet.
And that's what you go by. Like when you perform, you're Leon the poet.
Yeah, I just did it a few years ago, like a kind of statement of intent almost
Yeah.
to say, to kind of start to own it a bit more. So yeah, and that's what I did. So
I love it.
I like it better that way.
I mean, it's like everyone, Leon the poet's here. What's he going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, there's no surprises. You know, people know what they're going to get, really.
It looks really good as well, though, because Leon's got EO in the middle and poet's got OE.
Yeah.
So, like, we just had our branding expert on, Ben Stanbury earlier,
Yeah.
and that works well. It looks good together, doesn't it? Leon, poet, Leon, poet,
Yeah.
Leon, the poet.
It's all planned. It's all planned.
Was it planned when your parents called you Leon? They're like, he's going to make a great poet one time. Should we call him Noel? That's got the O and the E in the right order. No, Leon.
Well, originally it was going to be Leo after Leo Sayer,
Oh, yeah.
but my dad was like, "No, we want him to be a poet." So stick it in
Yeah,
on
but
the
Sayer's
end.
good as well. Sayer's good for. Oh no, but you weren't going to be called Leo
No.
Sayer, the poet.
No, it would have just been Leo, not Leo Sayer.
That'd be such a weird name for a kid. I love Leo. What should we call him? Leo Sayer. When did you start poeting? Poetry. What does he call it?
Poetry.
When did you become Leon the poet?
Poeting is good. Became Leon the poet probably in about 2022, but I started writing poetry in about 2016 by accident because I was just writing my songs, and then I started writing this other stuff, and I thought, well, doesn't feel like it's fitting in with the music, feels a bit different, so it was just by accident really, and just started writing these more faster poems, like inspired by more of the spoken word stuff like Kae Tempest,
Yes.
so quick stuff, more like quick rhythmy stuff.
And were you performing them live when you were doing your shows with your songs as well?
Kept it separate. It was always very separate. So, and I just started to perform in 2017. There was a few poetry events going on. And so went out and performed and just really enjoyed it. And it was very different from playing music.
Yeah.
Because when you play music, it's very different because most of the time you play music, people are just ignoring you, or because they can. Because you can just have a chat with your mates.
You can hide under the music, can't you?
You listen to the music in the background, it's different. But with poetry, you can't do that because you either listen or you're not listening at all. So most of the time, you get more engaged audiences, people are more into it and listening.
Yeah, everyone's like locked in, listening to every single word. But when you're singing a song,
People aren't.
Yeah, you can have a chat.
And it's also different just because there's so many bands and this music's so saturated, and there's it's a bit different with the poetry because not many people are doing it. So you get people, and it's as someone who's performed for a while to almost completely difference, right?
Yeah.
Kind of gets you down after a while, doesn't it? That kind of thing.
So you went out to your first poetry gig and you're like, hey,
People are
this is
listening.
amazing.
People are listening. What is this? What is this sorcery?
Yeah. And there was a mosh pit and some stage diving.
And so that's when it started, and then kind of just messed around with it for a bit, and then started to take it properly seriously in about 2022, and then that's when I took it more seriously, wrote all the time, and then it just spiraled from there to last year of getting my book published.
I absolutely love the name of your book.
Got it here.
The Sangita, the name of the book is?
It's called Sometimes I'm the Ball, Sometimes I'm the China Shop.
I think that's such a great way of saying, I'm chaos and I'm sensitive.
Yeah.
It's it speaks to me as well. I think that's really, really cool.
I really like the title. I'm a big title fan. I hate terrible titles, so this one came to me. I was like, that is cool. I'll keep that.
I think that'd be a good album name. And the actual the cover of the book actually looks like an album as well. It's such good art.
I absolutely love the art. It's by a local artist. She's called. I'm not sure if you're allowed to swear on this podcast.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
So she's on Instagram. She's Jackson Bollocks art, and she's really
Jackson Bollocks.
Definitely.
And it's like this really nice sort of collagey, chaotic sort of image.
I absolutely love the artwork.
Yeah,
because I'm in love with the art and getting it's so cool to get it and have it, and it just suits it so well because it's a real. It's got 90 poems in it, so it's a big epic, everything kind of book.
What I love about it though, because obviously you do see a lot of poetry books, and I don't know. Sometimes poetry doesn't speak to me as a consumer because sometimes I'm not so interested in people being clever with their heart on the sleeve too much. Because I've been to a lot of poetry nights and sometimes I'm like, it feels a bit like self-serving and stuff. Yeah. And I saw yours and I was like, this looks cool. I want to listen to this. Yeah. And then I saw the themes you're writing about and the name of the book as well. It really, really spoke to me.
I think that's really good to hear because I think I'm the same as you because it can be very serious. Poetry is very serious, and it's like people can be put off by it. And what I would love to do is just the idea of making it more accessible for people. It's not just for smart people, and it's not just for serious people writing about really serious things. You can write about anything, and that's what I like to write about. There's plenty of stuff that's serious. There's some politics in there. There's some personal stuff in there, but there's also like a silly poem about my dog and how he used to want to be a poet and
your dog wanted to be a poet,
and how he hates the royal mail because he hates the royal family because a parcel fell on his head, so he hates So it's there's a lot of.
Can we hear that poem?
Yeah, I'll read it to you if you want.
Sangita, you've got to give the book back.
It's like
can I just say it's an amazing book, and those titles are so good. Some of them are really quite hard hitting, wanting to read?
I think like I'd love to a really good title, because I just think a title is to hook you in. It's like, this is interesting. What is this about?
So you are coming to this like a songwriter. Like I said, it looks like an album, and you're thinking about like poem names, like song titles.
Oh, absolutely.
Sangita, you can have a serious one later, but I'm having a silly one about a dog that hates the Royal Mail.
That's okay.
Yeah?
I think like I think I do approach it in that way, because in the same as like, you know, when you got like an album or a band, when you put in a set list together, you know, like you don't cram all the like don't do all your fast songs in the first 5 and then do all your solo. Like you have to kind of mix it up. So whenever I do, like, so the book's kind of like that, really. Like there'll be like that's how I put it together, which might be a bit jarring for people, but like it's, you know, there's like, it will usually be a silly or like sweet poem, a funny poem, a serious poem, and then a political one or something like that. Let's do this one. This is a
silly one, right?
Yeah, it's 2 things my dog hates: pigeons and postmen. My dog's pure and unadulterated weapons-grade hatred for the Royal Mail stems largely from his proud, working-class, anti-monarchist roots. A student of history he may be, fully aware of the villains and their mendacity, the oppressive iron glove of the aristocracy. But his real ire springs from the time a parcel fell from the letterbox and landed on his head. And from that day forward, every time he sees a flash of red through concave glass, he unleashes a volley of barks that seem to say, I can forgive the past with all its sophistry, but I can't forget the scars or the stars I saw. And from this day forward, there'll always be a war that lasts more than 100 lifetimes. And if I somehow sire a child, even though my testicles long ago expired, I'll pass the baton on to him to carry it on and never bow his head to cower or play dead in the face of such tyranny as a parcel falling onto thee. Pigeons remind him of his brief sojourn on the streets of Trafalgar Square, trying to make it as a beat poet and failing. And even though he can rock a beret with the best of them, and Bukowski and Ginsberg were contemporaries as well as fans, he had no hands. Couldn't hold a pen, and his poetry fell from his lips in barks and growls. He hit the booze hard, slept rough in the square, under the shadow of Westminster. And he was woken every morning by the fluttering wings of those damned things and their incessant cooing. So he just chased them all away, every single one of them, and headed home. Joined the family business after all, forgot about his love of Kerouac and Corso. So when he sees one now, resplendent in funereal grey, he's taken back to those heady and glorious days, the dimly lit smoky bars, the excitement, the activism, the freedom of the pen, and finding his tribe and friends. And how it was all shat on from an almighty height by life's great pigeon, God himself. So I guess this poem should be titled 3 Things My Dog Hates: Pigeons, Postmen, and God.
And of course, dog is God backwards.
Yeah, of course.
And
it all makes sense.
And Jesus is sausage backwards, which dogs love to eat.
If you say so.
God.
It is sausage.
Okay.
You don't have to think about that one. Oh my God.
That was amazing, man. I didn't. I wasn't
brilliant.
expecting it to be so long.
It is long.
So really good. No, but it's a wicked
It's
journey.
a wicked journey, it is.
I think like really like what I like to do is just have an idea and you just follow it in your brain like with imagination and then just see where it goes. So I don't like to think about what it's going to be about. You just go, and that's the exciting thing.
Exactly. Where can a parcel on the head lead you?
Yeah, exactly. And that did happen. He does hate postmen. So there is like a kernel of truth in things, you know, like he does hate postmen. And even when he sees them on the street, he sees them. He's like, yeah, I know it's you. It was you. I don't forget that parcel. So there's like a kernel of truth and stuff. So, and I think like, there you go.
Have you ever read that to a postman? Has a postman ever stood up at a gig and been like, oi, it's a very difficult job?
No, I haven't, but I will do. I think as well, like the thing that going back to what you're saying about poetry being serious is that it is nice to go and like it's nice for audiences and it's nice for me and it's nice to go and perform something funny because like you can like even like it's funny because there's not many people doing funny stuff, funny poems, and that's true. Yeah. So there's one. I think there's another guy who does lots called James Domestic who's quite prolific and does a lot of touring and stuff, and he does funny stuff. And then I'll do some funny stuff.
Even the name James Domestic's making me laugh. It's like a Toast of London name, isn't it? It's like Ray Purchase or something like that.
Yeah. And so I think it's a nice thing to I think audiences are ready to laugh. I think.
Yeah.
Because there's like it's like serious.
Life is serious already.
With a bit of comedy in poetry as well. It does allow you to Trojan horse in some serious stuff
Yeah, absolutely.
as well, and some issues. They have a little pop at God, you know.
He does
Get one.
he does have a few pops at him in the book. So I think because I'm not having a go at religious people. It's just about I probably like the idea of God. But yeah.
See that now, right? Sangita. Sorry, I've been talking a lot, but there's not much about Leon on the internet, so I couldn't really research that much. But it did say you're from a controlling religious background.
Yeah. That's what I talk about. That's what I talk about.
Yeah, what tell us about this. What is this? And what in Witham?
Yeah.
It sounds like you've escaped from a cult.
It was a cult, yeah.
No way.
So I grew up in a high control religious group, sort of like close knit community. Will I say the name of them? I probably won't. And then it was just, and that essentially like, I was presented with the idea of what life is. You don't, when you're a kid, you should be able to kind of explore stuff. Instead, it was like, well, this is what life is. And this is where all the answers are in this book.
Yeah.
And it was very much like, you don't get to, you were different. You don't do birthdays, you don't do Christmas, you don't do any kind of holidays. You're different from everybody else. And also the end of the world's coming as well. So no, you're different from everyone, but don't worry because, they're all going to be dead soon. So, and you'll be kind of like ushered into kind of like a paradise or something like that.
The rapture is quite an exciting prospect if you believe in it, but you've got to be fully committed to that rapture. You've got
to be all in. You've got to be. So it was like a doomsday group, really. So that's kind of like.
Was that you were born and raised? Was that like
more or less? Yeah, more or less. Yeah. So like it's and that's the thing. If you think about sometimes I think about what's the single most important thing that's happened to you in your life that shaped you, and so that's kind of been the one. So growing up like that.
Sorry.
I guess trying to get out of it as well.
What was like the thing that really was your catalyst for like, I want to get out of this and actually feeling like you want to live your own life and go out and become obviously led to being Leon the poet? It
took such a long time. It was actually only COVID. So it's actually not even that long ago. It's 5 years ago. So it's when you're still sort of stuck in it. And then what happened was at COVID is that you couldn't get together as a group, because churches couldn't. So then you were left on your own. So then you kind of, that helped me to start to do my own thinking. And then doing my own research into cults. And then you read about a cult or you watch a show about a cult. And then you start to think, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Am I part of this?
I am actually in one. And then you realise, and then you do your own research and you're like, oh, actually, this is all nonsense. None of this is true. And then you realise that actually what I always wanted to be was to be a writer and be a creative. That's what I wanted to be. And this blocked me from doing that.
Yeah, within that framework as well. Do they block that sort of creative thinking and independent sort of spirit?
Yeah, there's none of that. Because when you're in a cult, it's about being part of the group.
That's right.
The group and what the group wants. And so no one cares about you and what you want to do.
Yeah.
What you want to do doesn't matter because we're all about the mission,
Mm-hmm.
So it's so that's why I really if you're a religious person, you might not be, I don't know, be offended by some of the stuff I say about God, but really it's all informed by the idea of God that I was presented with. And so I'm not, and
mate, listen, when we go when it's the rapture, I'm not saying when we go there, but when it's the rapture, you're going there, it's got to be the best party ever, right? There's got to be someone doing some funny poetry and some sick music there. So someone's got to practice it.
Exactly, yeah.
They should encourage it.
But I think like the God that I can get on board with is the idea of God as an artist anyway. And you think, well, he's made stuff. He's not interested in being worshipped. I do write about God a lot, and I find it interesting to explore that.
Do you find it therapeutic?
Oh, completely. Yeah. It is. I think I confide in my art, and that's what I call it, and that's how that gets me through. Last year, tough year, completely confided in it, and it was all in that, and it's all therapeutic. It's all figuring stuff out. Yeah. Everything. That's the main thing. What do I think about this? Don't know. I'm going to write about it, because if you grew up how I did, you didn't have the space to figure stuff out, so you're figuring it out now, and you figure it out through the writing.
This is amazing though, to think that just in COVID you were still quite deep in that, and then now you're a published poet. You're performing around the county. I don't know how far and wide you've performed yet, but what a change in your life, like within a few years.
I think it's nice to get to a point of like thinking, well, this is what I always wanted to be, but I never thought I could do it. So it's nice to be finally doing it. And you're like, well, yeah, and the only way you do it is by writing every day, sort of thing.
I think that's the thing about creativity, though. Everyone feels like you got it burning in you a little bit. Yeah. You just got to start doing it.
It's a need. It's an absolute need. And if you don't do it, then you'll probably die if you don't do it. Like you have to. And that's why when I speak to people about like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. Well, you have to.
Yeah.
I went to the Museum of Art Brut in Outsider Art in Lausanne in Switzerland, and it's amazing. There's like people from religious groups that have just been, doing like art in their loft, like a way where no one can find them. Having to express themselves, and people only find it when they've died or years later.
Yeah.
And there's just that human need to express yourself and to be creative, right? You can't oppress it.
It's also just like it's just serves so many functions because it's play as well, isn't it? We play as kids, so this is how we play as adults. Is it's the same thing. We've got the same need. To make something that didn't exist before. That's joy, isn't it?
Absolutely creative. I want to. I'm going to dwell into this just a little bit in the sense of when you left to do this, to take this path on as a poet and as a career, did this cause questioning from your community? That you was like, did people kind of say, what you're doing, this isn't right, you should be going down this path, not this path?
Well, the thing that made it easy for me to leave is I was actually quite a bad member of the group. Like I wasn't very good.
Yeah.
So that helped me.
Yeah, it's how push him out. Yeah, I like
How are you a bad member of the group?
Because I didn't really do the things that they say to do. Like that everyone, they say like, well, do a job where you don't have to mix with anyone who's not part of our group, right? And I didn't do that. I worked with people, so I was out doing that. Don't have friends who aren't part of this group. I had some friends who weren't, so that helped.
And did you keep saying, sounds like the sort of thing a cult would say?
But I guess at that young age, you wouldn't have known that, right? And as you just said, that because that was the norm, was the norm, right?
When you are brought up in a certain way,
That's right.
How on earth can you you've been indoctrinated from a child? How can you possibly know what's right and what's not? Because this is the way that you're supposed to live your life. This is the way that your parents approve of. This is the way that you get validation. There's no other way. So to actually go against it, then the answer to your question is that, people don't want nothing to do with you. People are not interested. Like, there's people are not interested in that. Even my parents, I love my parents. They're great, very supportive, but they're not interested. And because they're indoctrinated as well. And because they're like, well, I know the thing that would make them the most proud, and that would be as if I walked back into that church, that would make them the most proud. I know
That's crazy. You should just follow them around reading poems. Just force them to listen to them. And I bet one day they'll just like break it and be like, yeah, it's really good actually.
Well, I think that it's a good thing my dad doesn't read it because there's a whole bundle of them about him. So it's probably best he doesn't. And so I think... another answer to your question as well, it's when you leave, like it's not, they don't make it easy for you to leave.
Absolutely.
So when you leave, like I don't have any friends who are in it now because it doesn't make sense because they're on a lifeboat, they're living on a lifeboat waiting for the doomsday to come, and I'm trying to do something with my life. So
like you're in the here and now, right?
Yeah. And then you for a long time you weren't. So.
Yeah.
And they're all like, look at that, just doing stuff. Look at him writing silly things in his mortal life.
So now I guess actually, writing poems for you, in a sense, was therapeutic, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
That whole kind of trauma-informed kind of word that we use in the kind of care sector or any kind of vulnerable sector. So do you feel that by writing these poems, it was able to get some of your feelings, your frustrations out? Like you said, a lot of these might relate to your own experiences, right?
100%, yeah. You're exercising them, aren't you?
Were you scared that, oh my God, if my dad reads this,
oh yeah,
he's going to know. This is about me. You do get scared when you write stuff down. But I remember there was a writer called Jeanette McCurdy, who was a child actress. And she wrote a whole book about
about her life, and her book was called "I'm Glad My Mum Died," because her mum was like really abusive, and like she said, you got to write like everyone you know is dead. So you can't think about what other people think. You just have to do it.
Hard, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah, you can't think in that way. So sometimes, like, there is definitely, when you get it published, and when there's one poem in there, I think, well, that is actually quite mean. But it's like, that's honest, and that's another thing. You've got to be honest with your art, because you can't always be honest in life because you have to get on with people. Yeah. But you got to be honest with what you write, because that's yours. You've got,
amazing.
Have you ever had any walkouts?
There was one terrible gig where a woman had her head in her hands.
Oh no!
It was like this.
She was a post delivery person.
She was a postman or a Christian.
Yeah. And I was going to say it must have been God's God.
What,
what's going on here? I mean, what?
I saw that you've written a poem about Russell Brand. Is that pro Brand or anti Brand?
I mean, I hate Russell Brand. I honestly hate him. And I absolutely despise him. I've written about, I think there is one of them about him in here, and I've written a trilogy of poems about him, right? I'm sort of like weirdly obsessed with him, but like there's a trilogy of poems about him, and one was about, I think it's about and then it's about him finding Christ.
Oh yeah. And you've swapped places, haven't you?
And then, yeah, that's it. And then the third one is Jesus Christ finds Russell Brand, and Jesus Christ comes down and actually confronts Russell Brand. Because the thing is, one of the weird things about the good byproducts of growing up, like with your head in the Bible, is I do know it. So actually, when you see hypocrites like Russell Brand, you think, well, I can take you down just by, I know Jesus, what he would think about you if he came back, if he was real.
Yeah, and you can quote all the numbers and the scriptures and stuff.
It's just such a complete hypocrisy. So I can't get into it, to be honest, Nick.
Good. I know, I love it.
I love this rebelliousness, honestly. There's so much I could relate to.
Do you know what? I'd love that. Just, Russell Brand hearing you like do a takedown of him in poetry, and then to point out all the scripture quotes of why he's wrong and stuff.
As a poet, how do you go around finding commissions and sell yourself? How do you make that into a living?
It's difficult to getting poetry gigs. It's because it's still in its infancy.
Yes.
It's nowhere near like music.
Yeah.
Like you can, throw a stone and hit about 3 bands on a Friday night performing, but poetry is different. I really like Colchester as like a really big. Colchester's got a really big like thriving poetry scene.
Yeah. What are some good venues in Colchester?
There's Billy and Ricky. They put on events
in Colchester. It's not in Billericay.
No, they're missing a trick there.
They are, yeah.
Bill's a Ricky.
Yeah.
And there's also Colin and Chester who put on stuff in Colchester.
And is that at the Minories?
No, so it's at Patch Cafe.
Oh yeah,
and they put on stuff at the Commons as well. So they put on events and they ticket it and they put on longer sets.
Yeah.
Because when I first started, it was all short little sets, but now they do like 15 minutes. And when I did my book launch with them, and I did half an hour set, so that was really good. And sold some books.
Brilliant, and you can eat some food from Marley as well if you have the Commons.
Absolutely,
brilliant.
So it's getting gigs it's more of a challenge because you have to hustle for them, I suppose.
Yeah,
he's always hustling for gigs. It's the same as if you're a musician, but I think that's the thing is, if I could, I would perform all the time but there's just not the space for it, apart from the thing I'm toying with, the idea of putting on my own thing, like putting on
that
my own
was
show.
my next question.
Yeah,
have you actually thought
because
about
did Ethan started Wex's Lyrical, did he?
The poetry night was something that everybody spoke about.
Oh, everyone sort of put it together
but
as
it
one
didn't
thing.
have a name.
But you need a leader,
So it
right?
didn't have a name,
that's what I say. Like, if something doesn't exist that you want, you've got to be the one to start it. And actually, you might find more poets come out of the woodwork as well, because
I think I'm keen for Chelmsford just because I'm near to Chelmsford. I'm mostly in Colchester, but Chelmsford's got like it's got Hotbox, which you could do it there, and there's like it's it's just a definite space for it, and just making people more aware of it, and people are put off by it. And actually, when I perform, one thing is I want it to be like entertaining. That's the bottom line for me. I'm not trying. Obviously, I want to make you cry. Of course, I do. Want to make you laugh. Yep. Want to make you gasp. Want to make you I don't know, think. Hold your head in your hands, but also to be entertained and to like it. That's the main thing I want, because that's what people come out for. So I think if you can make it, change the perception of what poetry show is, I think that'd be good.
I'm intrigued by #trainwanker.
Should I read that one?
Yeah. Sorry, because no, but to talk about bursting the bubble of poetry. I've been to so many highbrow nights that it really
Not interested. I'm not interested in that, mate.
Everyone trying to outwit each other and use the cleverest words and the most obtuse, difficult to understand sentence structures and punctuation, and I don't know.
I'll be honest.
You know, like you don't need. I don't want a poem to have to come with a manual and a handbook for me to understand it.
Absolutely. No, look, as a non-creative who's not really into poetry as such, when I looked at the book and I browsed through the headings, there were so many in there that sounded so controversial that it was like, oh, I want to read what that's about. Oh, what? Politics? Oh, what? You know,
that's it. Well, that's when I saw
brilliant.
Train Wanker.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, well, one, I want to check it's not about me on my commute. But two, like, you know, like you're hearing that. If I saw a song called that, I would listen to that song straight away. And obviously, we've got James Buckley, Jay from the In-Betweeners, living in Chelmsford, who is famous for bus wanker, isn't he?
I didn't know he lived in Chelmsford.
Yeah, he's one of my dream guests who I always talk about. Yeah, but yeah, famous for bus wanker. I just don't think you see him around because people would just shout bus wanker out of cars at him,
or just stuff from the In-Betweeners.
Exactly. Yeah, and he's got to go. Yeah.
But I think, like, just to go back to what you're saying, I think a poem has to connect with people, has to connect with the audience, right? So why would you make it like so difficult to understand? And like, I've been there, and I know what it's like, and I like poetry, but I know what it's like to be there. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. I generally don't understand. I admire what you're doing. I admire you're up there. Brilliant. I'm all in, but I do not understand what is going on. Like, I don't understand, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to beep this out, but one of my friends is a really, really good poet, but so many of her poems are about how much she loves. Like, honestly, and when I go to the poetry nights,
oh my days,
and I've been there with her brother as well, sat with her brother, and we'd be there and be like, it's really awkward.
Oh, that's too funny.
I mean, I'm obviously.
Oh God, I'm going to go for your book. I'm not ready for.
I'm is insanely good poet.
I can imagine.
Honestly, so awkward to be sat there listening to these poems sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not. That's not for me.
They're very good poems, though.
Do you want to hear Train Wanker?
I do want to hear Train Wanker. Sorry.
So it's called #Train Wanker, and it's kind of about. When I wrote it, I was trying to remember. I looked back at it recently. I was like, I'm not sure exactly why I started writing it, but I think it is about young people trying to curate their social media and make sure that they're kind of on brand with everything, and how tiring that must be to be in your 20s and make sure that you're doing everything right online and liking all the right things and all that stuff. So it's called #Train Wanker. Fast food, instant friends, coffee to go, lie in on the weekends. Pronouns, rainbow, Ukrainian flag, all in the bio. Palestine is trickier though. Boss might see it and let me go. I need this job. It's not just me. Got to think of my family. Swipe left, swipe right, wipe once, twice, 3 times. No time for breakfast. Chug down some Huel. It's got all the greens I need. Rocket fuel. Follow all the hashtags. Share it to my story. Microplastics. Tick. I know the meaning of real politic. Quick Guardian article on fracking. Don't really understand it, but I'm sharing it. It's happening. Stephen Fry is worried about the BBC. Something to do with the licence fee. Don't really watch TV. Think I might have ADHD. Do a quick online test to see. Says you are highly likely. I don't read the disclaimer. Text my mum and complain to her. She replies, oh, okay, which I smile at. Go to type back. Then she says, I think we're all a bit autistic. Bloody boomers. Generation rents, be thrifty. Save that 150. By the end of the year, you'll have enough for a deposit. didn't have avocado toast in my day. They didn't have Netflix subscriptions and Apple Pay. If I wanted something, I had to work for it. This generation wants something for nothing. I share the article, call them pricks, change it to dicks instead, just in case my parents see it. Starts charging me rent. Take a selfie on the train. #train wanker. Put it on my story.
My God.
I think that might be the best poem I've ever heard.
Oh my God. More, big up,
Do you know-
big up.
Thanks.
Do you know what? I'm
Leon.
a big Tim Key fan.
Oh yeah, I love Tim Key.
And
I love
that's
Tim Key,
that's
yeah.
really tickling me in the same way that Tim Key
Yeah,
does. Like,
yeah.
I love his late night poetry, but I think I can see the Kae Tempest, the rhythm in that as well is
Yeah.
really nice. The way it skips along,
Yeah,
it's very economical as well. Like
short.
it's really
short key.
really packed with gags.
I love Tim Key. I think just because he's my mate got me his chapters book, and I just love him. I love it because he just makes me feel, because his stuff's so weird, and he would just write about something really strange, and it makes me feel good about the times when I know lurch towards the oddness.
I would really highly recommend late night poetry.
Is that like a
It's Tim Key and Tom Basden.
podcast or show?
Yeah, it's a fake sort of podcast thing. It's very very funny.
No, I will look at that.
I would recommend you need to come launch in Chelmsford. I know you've done
Yeah.
Colchester City, right? But we
should do
need
that.
you a Leon night
Yeah.
here, because actually what you just read was absolutely phenomenal. Honestly, it just made sense. And even from the one before, and like I said, looking at your book, looking at those topics, I bet you any money we read through some of those, they're going to be just as effective. I love the way you said it. It was like a story. It made sense. You could identify with it. Phenomenal, Leon. Well
you.
done,
Appreciate
you. For someone so quiet, you really got a whole heap of talent in there. Isn't it?
Yeah, no,
Wow.
it's what's funny as well. It's very easy to underestimate people that are from in religious groups and things, and to think that they haven't got like that insight and life experience. And
I think one of the things is just growing up how I did, that no one cares what you think, so you don't care what you think. So it's just there, and but it's not that you don't think anything about stuff. You do think loads of stuff, and then when you eventually start, it's like you've hit oil. So that's why it's coming out. That's why it's like poems every day.
were you just walking around with these little jokes in your head at the time and you weren't allowed to tell anyone?
And
Yeah, keep it to
actually,
yourself.
listening to both those poems, the name of it, sometimes I'm the bull, sometimes I'm the china shop, it just makes sense.
It's the best name.
Isn't it just?
I think it's just it's like a perfect title for the book, just because there is bits of like, sometimes is a bullish opinionated stuff. And I think people do say like stuff like disarmingly honest or very like brutally honest. But I don't really. I don't know if it is, other than just like it's just what I think. But I think people sometimes recoil.
Do you think poetry in Britain is not given enough prominence? Because I think when you go around some European cities, often you'll see like poetry in the street, like on the sides of buildings, and like really elevated, and people give it a lot more respect as an art form.
I guess it's always going to be kind of like the fringes, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, do you think Pam Ayres just killed it for everyone for like 100 years?
There's only really, I guess there's Pam Ayres, and what are the well-known poets?
Benjamin Zephaniah.
Yeah, of course, there's him. He was great.
And Kae Tempest.
Lem Sisay's really good. I like Lem Sisay. Yeah. There is I think
you've got John Cooper Clarke and people like that. And actually, around Colchester, you've got Martin Newell.
Yeah,
who's very. I think like you and him would just on the same bill would be amazing, because he's a bit of a rock and roll poet. He's got like the punk spirit as well.
Yeah, I think I've been on a bill with him a couple of years ago, and I don't think I was fully in the style yet. But I think because even though I started like Kae Tempest like quick, now it's like there's different stuff. It's slow, and there's some silly stuff. I wouldn't have started off writing about my dog. But it's nice to.
Glad you did.
It's nice to. I think for me, it's nice because I'm like I do like to make jokes and be silly. Yeah. So like it's good to do. That's a great thing about being a poet. You can write about anything, because like what I think is that even though I think I'll be great to be a novelist, great to write a film, but you think, well, I could write a poem about that's like a movie. So I try to because when I was a kid, I loved movies. That was my thing, movies and music. And so I try to structure a poem like a film, and that's kind of like, and if people can enjoy it in the same way, then that's what I want it to be like.
Yeah, not Battlefield Earth.
Battlefield Earth. Well, the John Travolta one.
The Scientologist movie. Well, there must be something in the water though, because we've got beans on toast as well from near you.
Oh yeah.
He's from near around Witham, isn't he? Braintree or something?
Is he from
Yeah, I think so. You got all these sort of like cheeky, like witty wordsmiths around. I love it.
I think the funny. I wrote a poem about Witham because Witham's just such a nondescript place, and you get like Anthony Kiedis from the Chili Peppers writing about LA and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, why does he get to write about his hometown? And I can't. So I write about Witham,
I love that.
and it was like I wrote about Witham, so that's what I did.
What's going on in Witham?
Nothing.
I'll tell you what.
Nothing
So that was
at
a
all.
quick one.
Very pretty planters at the station.
There's nothing going on.
No.
But as a poem, I enjoyed writing the poem. It was good.
Skate park.
There's a skate park there. What have we got?
Oh, you've got an internationally renowned computer game studio, Delilah Studios there.
Have we?
Yeah, which AJ Grant Scrutton, who's been on the podcast, runs it. And he could have moved anywhere in the world,
And he
and
went
he
there.
kept it in
Chose
Witham.
Yeah.
I don't
Exactly.
mind Witham. Witham's okay, but like
Got Laser Quest there as well.
is there a laser quest?
Yeah.
It's got nice places to eat. Actually,
Okay.
it's actually all right. It's got good places to eat.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Witham.
It's just a place, mate. It's
Visit
all right.
visit Witham. We should do. We've got to do more for the Essex Tourism Board. It's just a place. Witham. It's just a place.
It's just a place, mate. That's it, Witham.
Witham.
But like Ollie Mers is from Witham. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
probably the
right. Yeah,
biggest
yeah.
person who's come from. And Ollie Mers actually went out with my sister.
Yeah.
Went to the cinema with my sister.
And that's
Ooh,
good.
Disclosure.
And the Proj are sort of around
Prodigy,
from Braintree,
Braintree.
Witham sort of area. Yeah,
So
exactly.
mid Essex.
Yeah,
There
it's
we
all-
go.
it's
There is
all
stuff.
happening.
There is stuff going on. It's just a place.
See, there are people. There are creatives.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Hunter from the Gladiators came from Coggeshall. There's stuff going on, mate. Yeah, Kelvedon. No, don't get me started on Kelvedon. Kelvedon, it's just a place.
It reminds me of this thing I did on some training where we had to do this. I was taking some training and we had to do this icebreaker thing, and me and this guy were doing it. Let's think of some, I don't know, funny things to get people going rather than just the usual rubbish. So we said, what's the least impressive celebrity you've seen? Like, and that's what people had to do. The least
Brilliant.
impressive celebrity you've seen. And the best one was someone saw the back of Stacey Solomon's head.
I saw,
Not even the front, just the back of her head.
There you go. Well, I saw John Nettles, who was Bergerac in Colchester Debenhams.
Oh.
He was opening it. That's it. That's good. But people didn't like it, and they started to give us like their best ones. It's like, no,
No.
you've misunderstood the
worst
game.
one.
Yeah.
We were not impressed by that.
Sangita, what's the worst celebrity you've ever seen?
The worst.
Or the least impressive?
Z-list celebrity.
Probably Justin Bieber. Or
What?
Bieber, whatever
That's a
his
good
name is.
one. I'm talking about.
Where did you see him though? If it was in Lidl, then that was good.
It was in Stratford.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about. I saw Jodie Marsh in Bernarda Tree. All right, so that's what I'm talking
Mate,
about.
that is not the first time she's been mentioned on the podcast, because she held me up in Big Sainsbury's in Chelmsford with her coupons once. And I love Jodie Marsh. I'm not dissing her at all. I think she's brilliant.
Friend of the podcast.
Well, hopefully, maybe a future guest. I'd love her on here. But yeah, she's a good celeb spot. But you know, celebrities have to go to shops too. My dad's seen Claudia Schiffer in Sudbury Waitrose,
Wow.
because she lives around there with Matthew Vaughan. That's Suffolk, like, you know. It's just over the
You're
border.
going
But,
over
you
the
know.
I
borders.
thought you were going to say
Keep it
David
Essex.
Copperfield. I thought she was still married to David Copperfield.
No, she's Matthew Vaughan, who
The
made
director, yeah.
Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels and Kingsman and stuff like that. Yeah, legend. Not he's a producer and director. But you know, you can go to the supermarket and see the Prodigy there. You can see Liam, or whatever.
Yeah.
Famous people have got to go places too,
They do. They
but
do.
just not in Chelmsford. Where are you, James Buckley? We've never seen you. He lives in Chelmsford. We've never seen him. Come on, James. He was at Chelmsford Chieftains last weekend because I saw it on his story. He was watching the ice hockey. Come on, Buckley. Is he going out in like? Maybe he's got a disguise.
Could be. He's trying to avoid you.
Maybe he's the guy that dresses entirely in Burberry, and he's using Burberry camouflage. Leon the poet. What tips you got for anyone that would want to get into poetry? You know, how would you start out? How would you start your poetry journey?
Just begin. That's all you have to do.
Just
start.
begin and,
But like start
and end at the
writing,
end. Begin at the beginning and end at the end.
The fact that you want to do it, that's the thing. You got a desire to do it, so then you have to. Have you got the means to do it? Have you got a pen and paper? Or have you got a phone? Yeah, everybody has. Then you do it. You just start, and then and that's it. You do your first one, and when it's done, you go over it 3 times, and then you leave it and you move on to the next one and you begin.
And do you normally have a little nugget, like little insight in your head, like a parcel fell on my dog's head, or like, isn't it funny, like what all the emojis someone puts in, like a hashtag, and then you just take it from there. So where do you find the insight of what you want to say in your poem?
Sometimes, a lot of the time, I'll go on a dog walk, and I'll just basically, going on a dog walk is like going on a walk around in my brain, really. You're just kind of walking around and you're at peace, no one's bothering you. And it's just a bit annoying when other people are around with their dogs. But you just kind of walk around and you see stuff, think of stuff. I wrote one about a lonely lamppost the other day.
I love that.
It was a lamppost, right? It was really sad, right? It's a patch of grass, trees, and then there's just a lamppost on the end facing the other way. And I was like, I just feel really sorry for it because it's like, grew up in a family of trees.
Being shunned.
Couldn't grow up with its kind, and like, so I just wrote a poem about it called "The Lonely Lamppost" when I got home.
Do you stress test your ideas? Because often, like, I'll say to my wife, "I've had this idea," and she'll just be like, "No, don't do it."
I do not know no one. I'm my own editor, and that's it. Yeah. And I don't care.
Yeah. I think so. Sometimes you've got to see the gold in it, right? You've got to know that there's something in it that you can take and craft, and you're the only one that's going to give it that much love, anyway. You've
got to be the curator of your own stuff, and you've got to care about it more than anyone else, and that's it. And the main thing is, right, find one person, two people that you trust with your work, and if you want to ask them. Don't ask the world. Yeah.
That's
certainly
right.
Never ask the internet.
Have you ever gone out? Because I've done this before. I'm presenting ideas at work or something, and you kind of halfway through, you realise it's absolutely rubbish, and you're like, and then you got to just keep going.
You got to commit.
Yeah, you got to commit. But have you ever done that at poetry night, like where you
100%.
started reading something, and you're like, oh. Yeah, that wasn't as good as it was.
You've got one of the best things I saw was, I love seeing people commit to the idea. Like, going back to what I said about people, I don't understand what they're doing, but they've committed to the bit. And I like that. There was someone who did a poem, and it was just about, there was a guy actually, Barry, who's a great poet from Colchester, and he did a 10-minute poem about like a story about, it was kind of to do with Trump, and it was to do like, I was like, what is this? And it was really, it was all, he didn't have a script. He did it. He'd obviously practiced it, and I was like, that is the best thing I've ever seen. Yeah. So you got to commit to it. Whatever you do, you got to commit to it. And even if you think, I don't really want to do that, you have to do it. Like, I've got a poem there called "Frank Turner Has a Lot to Answer For." I'm like, right, and that's about basically how there's too many shouty singer-songwriters now, in Colchester especially, because he lives in Mersey.
Does Frank Turner live in Mersey?
Yeah, he lives in Mersey, and that's why.
Future podcast guest.
No, I knew you was going to.
Hello, Frank Turner.
And that's just
Gig 3001. Are You Creative podcast? Yeah,
absolutely. And that's just me having a go and poking and just having a laugh. And the poem is about how I'm at an open mic and I say, can we just, say to all the open micers, can you stop shouting? And they chase me down the road with like sharpened guitars, right? And kill me. That's basically the poem. And at the end of the poem, when they're chasing me, I was running on the spot as if they're chasing me. And it's like, I thought, I'm not sure if I want to do this, but I did it and people liked it because it was different.
Yeah,
I love that.
You've got to commit to the bit.
It's that Stuart Lee approach. You've got to you've got to go on for so long that it goes to not funny and then gets funny again.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, and you can never show weakness. You've got to be 100% committed.
Yeah, and that's what I think. That's because no one who cares anyway. Like, you do it and people like it or they don't like it, and that was good or that was weird, or like, you just do it.
My friend Arj once gave me some really good advice about comedy. And he said, comedy's not about the punchlines, it's about the journey, right? So, no one needs a neatly wrapped up gag. You've got to make the way there funny.
Yeah.
He told me that when I was doing a best man speech, and I was like, okay. So you got to make make the journey funny. And I was like, brilliant. Well, that's great. Run on the spot, do whatever. Yep. It doesn't even need to be neatly wrapped, and you go, oh, that's the end.
Another thing to do is what I've started doing recently when I do the poems is the bit in between is to spend as much time on the bit in between talking and think about that and make that funny and like entertaining as well. So then it's because what people do, or what I used to do, was like, this poem is about this, and this happened when I went there, and a dog fell on my head, or something like that. You know what I mean? So like, then you tell a bit of a story, and then it's funny, and it's nice to people like that too.
Do you know what I mean? I love the way you said the poem because you were so in character in the sense, like your voice, and it just sounded really good storytelling.
Yeah. Do you know what Billy Connolly did? He used to be a folk singer.
Yeah.
And then he would tell he would chat in between songs. then he said the chat in between songs would get longer and longer and longer. And the song, and eventually he was just like, oh, shall I just make it just chatting?
Yeah, I like that.
It's crazy. And it sounds like you're going the same way.
I think because there's obviously there's a part of me that wanted to be like a performer anyway, and there's a part of me that's loves comedy and would like to kind of do that as well. But so almost like you feel like you're kind of moving towards it with the same as the poetry. So it's always nice to make people laugh, isn't it?
You're amazing.
Leon, I'm so glad you left the cult.
Me too.
I'm so glad. Is there
And
anyone
come
else?
here.
Can we go and rescue some more people? We should do creative cult busters.
Oh, I love that.
We should go and get people. But you've been such an amazing guest. Thank you so much for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
I loved your poems.
Leon, how do we find you?
I'm on Instagram at Leon the Poet, and that's my main thing that I do. I've got some gigs coming up there, and you can buy my book there. And I'm going to try to do some stuff in Chelmsford, probably bring the book launch to Chelmsford and do something here.
You should get on at some comedy nights as well, though, because I think the poems will stand up so well.
Oh,
It's almost like wasted at poetry nights.
That's a good point, actually. I'll do
I can see you in a mixed bill. I can see you opening up for Stuart Lee.
Ooh, mate,
or Tim Key.
I mean, that's amazing. I've not thought of that. I will try that.
Well, there you go. I'll take my commission. Sangita.
Yes.
What a guest.
Mate, this was just absolutely amazing.
It's so nice meeting someone that I don't really know much about and I couldn't find much about online.
Do you know what it as well for me for this one was? It was really good to meet a creative that is literally on the same page as me when it comes to talking about real stuff and controversial stuff. And I'm reading it. I like this.
Definitely.
Look at this. A joker just like me. Yeah, mate. That's
You know what? Like,
the
it's like
Tories on tour.
it's like he's in my mind.
Yes.
These are the thoughts I have.
I've got to buy this book. That's all I know.
That a joker like me. That's about my daughter being born. That's a sweet one. So I always start with that because it's a sweet one. People like it. It's like, that's nice, but it's funny. So that's about my daughter being born.
How old's your daughter?
She's 14 now.
Wow. Out of the cult.
Yeah, both. But I've got two daughters, both of them out. Yeah.
Nice, man. All right, that's
Amazing.
wicked.
I bought that end for you actually. I bought one copy so you both can, or one of you can have it.
We'll have it time to share. Sangita can have it first. No, I'll have it back afterwards. Because I read in the bath, I ruin all my books. So Sangita can have it pristine first. I've got to do a little handbrake turn. Thank you for listening to Are You Creative Podcast. Subscribe to us on Instagram at r.u.creative.podcast and send us questions. Now, no one has never, ever sent us a question. Just tell us if you've enjoyed an episode or whatever. We've got like 28 episodes now. What's your favourite one? What's the best bit? #Grundon bins. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to listen to them all because you will laugh at. If you don't know why Grundon bins is funny, you got to listen to them all and you'll know what Grundon bins is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well
Okay.
done.
Thank you to NGDA. Thank you to Lorca Media. Adam Whitaker. Big up yourself. What a facility. It's amazing. The soundproofing's great, isn't it? Look at that.
Brilliant.
It's like the mothership. Don't get alarmed. It's like the mothership above us. This circle, it's like Starship Enterprise.
Brilliant.
I love it. No more reverb. And I think that's about it. Do you think we should, have you got a really short poem?
Yeah, I'll find one.
Do a really, really short one on the way out because I think
So this is where Nick's getting his money's worth, right?
This is like me having a jukebox.
We're getting all these poems out for free now.
I'm going to try and find a short one.
Yeah, it's like my own little personal poetry jukebox. Do you know, I'm loving it so much.
Me too, honestly.
I'd pay good money to watch this.
I can't believe we've got a copy. We're so blessed.
We've got Essex's own Tim Key here.
I'm telling you. What a
this one's
diamond.
short. And it's one of those ones where I generally don't know what this one's about or why I wrote it.
Love it.
But it's called My Kid Could Paint That. So I'll read it. The man spent his days stealing birds from trees, stuffing them into glass jars, labelled them in alphabetical order. Dreamer, high achiever, anxious non-attender, up his own arse. He saw the light from their eyes grow dim over time. He wondered why. He took photos of pylons, lampposts and stop signs, exhibit them alongside his birds. He sold the pylons for millions. The birds he couldn't give away. That's it.
Oh, I love it, man. That's so good.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Oh, that was a treat.
Yeah, all right, I'm going to hit the stop button.
Yeah.
Leon, don't say anything funny now because I'll be getting up to stop.